Delusions of grandeur, insanity, sure, there's plenty of that. But here's what you can also hear on the Nice Guys on Business.
If you hate the feeling of a toe-curling, mind-blowing orgasm, stay far away from this interview. That was just total fuckery, wasn't it?
Total fuckery.
It's not enough to be different just to be different. You have to be different in a way that makes a difference to someone's life. Remember, we're trying to get people laid here. We are trying to get people laid through copy paper. We're trying to get people laid through pickup trucks. We're trying to get people laid through legal services, all of these different things. You have to do something for them to make them fall in love with you and feel like they're irrationally loyal to you, that they feel like they'd be cheating on you if they didn't use your brand.
Hey, I was just thinking, maybe this show we do something different. Maybe it, not suck. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. It is Friday, and my name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler.
Strickland Bonner. I am feeling good. I'm fresh back from New Orleans, Louisiana, and have enjoyed the entire beginning of the week there, doing a little speech, and now I'm ready to get back to business as normal with you.
Cool. I love that. I'm ready to go because we got a really interesting interview today. Deb Gabor.
Oh, today's Deb Gabor? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
This is great. Deb wrote a book called Branding is Sex, Get Your Customer Laid, and Sell the Hell Out of Anything. How great do you think that this would be as an interview?
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. I haven't actually listened to it yet.
So I know that you haven't heard this yet because we are recording this after the fact that I recorded the interview with Deb and after the fact that I recorded a kick-ass intro. And you might even edit all this stuff out because you'll just laugh at the intro. You're going to love the intro. You will. You'll totally love the intro. Anyway, Deb has a book, Branding is Sex, Get Your Customer Laid, and Sell the Hell Out of Anything. And she is totally wide open the entire time. She is what you see is what you get kind of person, and she is feisty, and she is nice, and she is so funny. You will love this interview.
Cool. I love it. And one of the things that I love with her, I mean, obviously, she calls herself the dominatrix of sales, but something that she said on her website, it says, brand or be branded. And it's so interesting because if you don't choose a brand, right? Like there are people out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm just me. I don't need to be a brand. Well, you know what? People are going to create a brand for you, all right? Whatever their impression of, whatever their perception of you, that's how you will be branded. So it's brand. In other words, make a conscious choice that this is how you want to come across to people, or they'll do it for you. It's just so appropriate.
And she's actually known as not the dominatrix of selling. She is actually the brand dominatrix. She will kick the brand ass out of you for calling her the wrong title. She's feisty, Strick. You don't want to cross her. You don't want to mess her.
We want to get to the promise statement.
Oh, you want to do that? Because I don't have it in front of me.
Because you don't have it in front of you as usual.
I do. I got to scroll down to the bottom of my page now. At least it's on every page. I got to scroll down now. As soon as I get this whole, you got to get in a tempo, and I'm just not there yet. I'll get in the tempo.
I hear you. It is to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. That's it. That's our learning. That is our promise statement. That's what we promise to you.
And if we have not achieved that, or if you feel like we are fumbling with the promise statement or fumbling with anything on our show, could you let us know? At DJ Doug is my Twitter handle. Strick is at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. Just reach out to either one of us. Chances are better if you reach out to me. You won't have to warn Strickland that he's not responding to any of his Twitter messages. Strick, legitimately, when's the last time you checked your Twitter feed?
A week ago, maybe. I don't know. 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't check the Twitter.
But what you have been doing, which has been great, is you've actually been updating the Facebook page quite often. You're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay active there. At least I'm just not the social media guy. That's your job.
Mm-hmm. Why is that my job? Why is that only my job?
Because I do all the tech stuff.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, but I do the interviews, so can't we just, split the rest of the stuff down the middle? Can we talk about this?
Okay, I'll take Facebook and you take Twitter. How's that?
Oh, no, I like Facebook also. It's a lot more friendly. Facebook is a lot more visual. I like the video component and the pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. We'll do one of those things. That is all a part of our brand, too. It's that thing that we do.
True. That's true.
Argue a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's get to the interview. Deb Gabor, again, the author of what the heck is her book? Branding is Sex, Get Your Customer Laid and Sell the Hell Out of Anything. I have to have, like, as I'm doing this, you guys should see this. Nice Guy community, you should see this. Right in front of me right now is a 27-inch iMac. It's huge. It's probably one of the biggest screens. I think they make one bigger screen. Why I can't get like 5 or 6 levels of things that maybe I'm just not doing it. It's totally user error. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I don't know. Is your resolution too high? Are all the fonts really big?
No, they're not big. I can't get enough windows. I guess I could. I don't know.
Yeah, why can't? I mean, you just resize the windows so the other ones are smaller, and you can have a lot of them open. Yeah,
I should just do that. I really should. I don't know. Then I just get spoiled with having like one huge open screen, and I like it because all the fonts are big and everything. It all looks good. But then when I have to do like 7 things at the same time, it's challenging. I can't see them all. These are the first world problems I deal with.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Anyway. Deb Gabor, let's get to her interview right here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
I want a sexy brand here to help me make nerd the new sexy and the Nice Guys a place for all buyers to toss their britches. On stage is marketing expert and author of Branding is Sex, Get Your Customers Laid and Sell the Hell Out of Anything, Deb Gabor. Welcome to the Nice Guys, Deb.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I think that originally Sunny Lake, I believe it was Sunny Lake, as we had this little pre-interview conversation when you said, I think we got together on Twitter. I think Sunny Lake in the Nice Guy community put us together, and she has been putting together me with anything that has sex related. So I've had dominatrixes on the show.
Actual dominatrixes?
Yeah.
Or dominatrices? Is that the appropriate word for it?
Something like. Now, I saw that it said that you're known as a brand dominatrix. So what the hell is that, Deb?
Well, brand dominatrix, that is a title that was bestowed upon me by a really awesome creative director about 15 years ago. He just said, I can come in and unfuck an organization's business from the brand perspective. And he said, it's like you bring in these chains and whips and whip everybody into shape. And so he bestowed that title upon me. And so I'm known as a brand dominatrix, also an investor pitch whisperer. So I work with early stage companies, helping them tell their story effectively to an investor audience through their investor pitch. So I like nicknames. I'm, I guess traditionally a founder and CEO of my own company, but I like something that's a little bit more descriptive, like brand dominatrix, investor pitch whisperer, chief cook and bottle wash, zookeeper. Any of those things will fit.
Well, and it seems like, at least in the preliminary conversations that we've had over the last 20 minutes or so, it seems like what you're going to do is go into an organization that you can't be a conservative organization and bring you in. I mean, unless you tell me differently. Can you turn somebody around and speak their language so that you're not that I want you to tame at all what you're saying, but it's almost like you might frighten somebody going in there.
So I'm not like this all the time. I do behave like a grown-up when I am consulting with companies. Now, the branding is sex metaphor, I completely own that, but I do believe in being very authentic and being very clear. So I know this about myself and I know this about my company. We're sort of an acquired taste. And actually our ideal customer, the kinds of organizations we work best with, are organizations that are led by entrepreneurially spirited leaders, people who are independent thinkers, people who are blazing trails and also have a lot at stake to have a really successful brand articulation in the marketplace. And so they're often up for taking a lot of risk, and we're not order takers, right? I'm not an order taker. They're not order takers. That kind of goes with the brand dominatrix persona that I've developed over the years. But we work with organizations who want to be driven and who want to be pushed. And so therefore, it gives me a little bit more license to just kind of be myself.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily working with Catholic Charities, is what you're saying.
We are not. We're not working with Catholic Charities. We did work with, here in Austin, Texas, where our headquarters is, we did work with the Jewish Community Association of Austin. And we had to tone things down a little bit for them. But, everybody's pretty open-minded. And It's usually about the third or fourth meeting where I will unveil my favorite 4-letter word of the day.
Oh, that's good. So there is a favorite one that's not just the word fuck. You move off of that word every once in a while, it sounds like.
Yeah, I have a lot of favorite words. I like the word fuck, and as we discussed before, I like to use the word fuck as a root in the development of other words. I'm also really into coming up with interesting portmanteaus, and if this marketing and branding thing doesn't work out for me, I'm going to have a line of T-shirts that are all dirty portmanteaus.
Oh, that's very good. Well, let's talk about your book for a second, because a lot of the reviews that I was reading, amazing work that you've done. You talk about to take the reader down so they never fail a bullshit test. So I like where you're going with a bullshit test, but can you explain what that is when it comes to marketing and branding, or is it something else?
So the bullshit test with regard to marketing and branding, and it's interesting that you're asking about the bullshit test because a lot of people ask about that. That really is the test that you put yourself and your company through to ask the question of, is this brand I'm creating, is it truly unique and singular and ownable by me or my company? Is this something that anybody else in the marketplace can claim? And that requires you to do some really serious introspection and really dig in deep and say, is this truly differentiated? Is this meaningfully differentiated? Is it unique to me? Is this an insert brand name here kind of scenario? And the bullshit test is if you can't answer yes to all those questions, then your brand is bullshit. So it really is about authenticity and it's about ownership, but most importantly, it's about singularity, because the best brands in the world are the ones that say something about their users that's unique. They are brands that are indispensable to those users. So they create a condition in which there's irrational loyalty, where users actually would feel like they were cheating on the brand if they were to go somewhere else. Yeah. And then they help those users tell a story in their own life. When you put all those three aspects of the brand together, it should create a very, very unique picture. I like brands that are differentiated, singular, and very, very clear to articulate and develop deep emotional bonds with their users. Bullshit brands are ones that are Me Too brands. That's really what the bullshit test is about.
And don't forget, Nice Guy community, as you're listening to this, you can still have a commodity product and have a unique brand. So even if you're in the business of copy paper, it does not mean that is a bullshit brand. It means that and again, Deb, help me because you're the marketing expert here, but explain, or maybe I'll let you explain what I mean. You can have a commodity, right, and still have a unique brand.
Absolutely. You can have a commodity, or you can have a downscale brand. I get asked the question all the time, is this just for luxury brands, or is this just for high-end expensive products? And absolutely it's not. Let's take, for example, Walmart. Walmart is, half the world's favorite discount big box retailer. Mm-hmm. And Walmart has a brand, right? Walmart most definitely has a brand. And the basics of branding, and this is the place where you get out your pen and you write this down. This is your mini MBA in branding right now.
Ready.
The essence of branding is this. It really is about answering these three questions. The first question is, what does it say about a person that they use or patronize this brand? Secondly, how does this brand make itself indispensable? So really, how is it differentiated? How is it unique? How is it necessary? And then the third question is thinking about the people who use the brand. Everybody is creating a story for their life, right? Everybody is trying to tell a story about themselves for their lives. What is the specific role that this brand plays in that customer's life? So going back, if we take the Walmart example, what does it say about a person that they shop at Walmart? Let me ask you, Doug, what do you think it says about a person that they shop at Walmart?
They like a value in their life. I mean,
they like value, yeah.
Right. I don't go for the wonderfully well lit stores that I walk into and the wonderful customer service. I'd like to, if I can get a box of cereal less expensive and I can get that at Walmart, I'm going to go into Walmart to get it. I don't eat cereal, right. But you get my point.
Right, exactly. It probably says something about you have better things to spend your money and time on. The brand for Walmart is lowest prices always.
Mm-hmm.
There's a price guarantee that goes with it that you can know consistently that you're going to get it for the lowest price there. And so what it says about you is that you are very, very value driven, that the products that you're purchasing at Walmart are really not necessarily to create some status in your life. You're probably buying necessities and things that you and your family need. The second question then, which is, really about what is unique and singular to Walmart. Well, what's unique and singular to Walmart is really this notion of lowest prices always, that there's a guarantee associated with it, that it is always 100% committed that they're going to have the lowest prices. So that's something that enables them to make that claim that they are for the value buyer. And then the third question, thinking about who the customer is, and in this case, let's take you as the ideal customer for a gigantic box of cereal. What is the story you're trying to create for your life? You are the hero in your own story in general, right?
Yeah, okay.
What is the role that Walmart and shopping at Walmart, what is it that plays in the creation and the telling of this story of Doug Sandler?
Well, it gives me the ability to find value in a particular product. What's interesting about it is I'll shop at Walmart for my cereal, but I'll go into Whole Foods to buy their meat and I'll spend 3 times more. So I guess I save where I can save. I don't see the big, for me, I don't go into Walmart as a status symbol. Like you said, I go in there because I don't know. I want to find some balance in my life. If I'm overpaying for something from a luxury store, I want to underpay for something somewhere along the way too. So it helps me find some balance in my life.
It helps you find balance in your life. It also says that you're a smart and thoughtful consumer, right? And maybe that's part of the story that you want to tell about yourself to other people, but more importantly, the story that you want to tell about yourself to yourself. So the best brands in the world, and sort of tying this back to this notion of branding as sex, how is branding like sex? The best brands in the world are the ones that elevate their customer's self-concept. So they make you feel better about yourself. So the way I tie this back to sex is the best brands in the world are the ones that give people the feeling of that mind-blowing toe-curling orgasm, right? And you could argue that Walmart probably doesn't on the surface give people that feeling unless you really, really dig in and understand what is the story that this person is trying to create for their life.
I don't know. I mean, when I walk out of there and I spent $100 and I look at what I could have spent $150 or $170 somewhere else, that's a great feeling for me. That does elevate the feeling that I have about myself. So that is the same feeling that you get pretty much when you have sex. It's just a great feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's a lot of brain science behind this, and there's a lot of research now into branding. Like the core reason that branding exists is that you need emotions to facilitate cognitive decision making. So there's brain scientists out there who are doing all kinds of brain research, and there's some that are doing research on the brain specifically within the areas of marketing and branding. And one of the things that they've learned is that 95% of what happens in a sales process is happening outside of awareness, right? People have to feel something in order to make a decision. This brain scientist named Antonio Damasio, and he comes from one of our big Boston schools out there, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one, but he's done a bunch of research, and he did a bunch of research on people who had brain trauma where the part of their brain that facilitated emotions was damaged. And he brought those people in and he tried to get them to make very, very basic decisions, really basic decisions like paper or plastic or turkey sandwich or chicken sandwich or where do you want to have lunch today? And what he found was that even the most basic decisions were beyond people's capabilities if they were missing the emotional center of their brain, which is the limbic system, or if they had damage to the limbic system. So, looking at that definitely feeds into this idea that people need to feel something in order to make a cognitive decision. And so you need to feel like you are getting a good value. You need to feel like you have the world on a string. You need to feel like you made a smart decision in order for you to connect emotionally with that brand, and that facilitates that cognitive decision making. So does that make sense?
It totally makes sense, but let's break it down into even more simple sense for those that are listening, and we can make it totally relatable for them. Can anyone and everyone that is listening to this podcast that own a business have a brand?
Absolutely. Everyone can have a brand. And as it says in the book, in the chapter that's brand or be branded, everybody has a brand whether they like it or not.
Well,
right?
And yeah, totally. That was actually going to be my next question, was related to that, but I'll let you continue with your thought process here. This is great.
Sure. So you have a brand whether you like it or not. And my theory is, why not grab a hold of it and control the identity? There are two pieces to the brand. Like the brand is structured, there's the identity and the image, right? Mm-hmm. The identity is the part of it that you control. The image is the part of it that customers control. When the image matches the identity, the angels are singing, the sky opens up, light shines through.
Everybody is in love at that point, and that's when the sex is totally amazing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But then you have cases like the broken brand promise, right? Mm-hmm. So, there are examples in the book of brands that have the broken brand promise, but anytime an organization or a product doesn't deliver on its promise to you, that is the broken brand promise. For instance, I always talk about the cable company. When's the last time you had an absolutely delightful, orgasm-inducing experience with your cable company?
Let me think about that. Never.
Right. There you go. So that's an example of the broken brand promise. So you have a brand whether you like it or not. I would say, here in Central Texas where I live, Time Warner Cable has gone through like an epic rebranding process, and they're calling themselves Spectrum, and they're launching new services, and they're really trying to create a new brand image out here because the Time Warner Cable brand, it was really broken, and so they're trying to set the right foot forward and develop a new relationship with their customers. So they're working hard to both control the identity, but then also deliver on the image, which is the promise to customers. So, they had a brand. Time Warner Cable had a brand. They were very much not in control of that brand. Customers will take on the brand, and brands take on a life of their own unless you control them.
So how do you control that? You have to deliver on the promises that you make, but how do you actually develop your brand to begin with? I think there's a lot of people that would be listening to this in the Nice Guy community that are just trying to figure out, well, what is my brand, and how exactly do I decide? I need to ask myself those three questions, but do I need to bring in an expert? Is this something I can do some self-analysis on? How do you even find what your own brand is?
Well, I wrote this book because I believe that this methodology is simple enough that anybody can do it themselves. It just depends on how much stomach you have for it and how much time. And sometimes it's good to have someone from the outside come in and help you. But really, the methodology that's in the book, and I'll give you like a very short summary of it if listeners want to actually try it on their own. I'll tell you step by step what are the things that you need to do. Sometimes it helps to have an outside perspective, because as entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur, as entrepreneurs, we love our business and we love our brands maybe more than anybody else, to the exclusion of everybody else. And so sometimes that hinders our decision making and sort of closes off opportunity to us. So you can do it on your own. You can get help for it. And I love to help organizations of all sizes help them figure out their brands, or unfuck their companies, as I like to say. But people can do it on their own. And so beyond answering those three questions, really where it starts is with who is the customer. So my firm belief, that whole idea of brand or be branded, is really all about brands don't exist outside their customers. Your brand lives in your customers' hearts and minds. And so old-fashioned branding, like back in the days when I went to school and I went to business school, they talked about branding, they talked about marketing really from the perspective of the company. And they talked about the 4 Ps of marketing: product, price, promotion, et cetera, right? And really there was not a whole lot of discussion of the customer. Well, today, with the proliferation of media channels and just choice, like just the overwhelming choice of the different products, services, people that you can hire to do just about anything you could even imagine, it's really, really hard to stand out. And so the best way to stand out is by bringing your customer to be part of your brand. So that's where it starts. So the first question is, who is the customer? And I like to use this methodology that I call the ideal customer archetype. And the ideal customer archetype is really about creating a singular profile, or almost a persona description, of the one unicorn customer that if you had maybe only 20 of these, who would be the easiest to service, the highest margin, the funnest to work with, the ones who would just be the highest customer lifetime value to you. They don't exist in real life. They really are unicorns, but you develop your brand for that aspirational customer because it anchors everything and it provides you with sort of a North Star to point towards. So that's the first thing. So ask yourself the question of, who is this for? What is it that I'm providing? Who is my ideal customer? Who is my best customer? Who is most highly predictive of my success? So that's the first step. Then the second step is to ask those brand questions. If you have a picture in your mind of who that ideal customer is, the next step is then to answer those three questions. The first question, knowing that this is the unicorn customer for whom I'm creating this brand, what does it say about them that they use my brand? And really, really dig in and understand sort of the unique nuances of that, right? And where this comes from is this idea. I like to give car examples because they're really easy to understand. If you saw me roll up next to you at a stop sign someplace here in Central Texas and I was driving my Ford F-250 heavy-duty truck and you didn't know anything else about me, what kinds of things could you surmise about me just from seeing what I drove?
I'm not going to call you a redneck, but
right, exactly, yeah. Okay. So I'm a 5'1" middle-aged woman driving a pickup truck.
That's a tough woman. She's got a shotgun at the house. I'm staying away from her.
She has a shotgun in the truck. I do live in Texas.
Right, that's true.
So so that's what we mean by like really, really try to understand like what are the specific nuances of that. What does it say about a person that they use this brand? The second question that you ask is, what is the singular thing that they get from us that they can't get anywhere else?
Right.
And so this is where brands get tripped up all the time, because this is where my clients and the folks that I'm working with and that I'm coaching, that I'm speaking to and teaching, they get tripped up on this because that's where they talk about what I call the itties. Anything that ends in ITY. Oh, well, they get reliability, availability, scalability, manageability, flexibility, blah, blah, blah ability. Anything that ends in ITY or anything that ends in ER, thinner, faster, longer, straighter, narrower, wider, et cetera, that is not singular, because those are just features, right? Those are just features. Those may be benefits. Those are sort of all of those itties and ERs give people there's some emotional benefit to it, but it is not singular. It's not ownable. And as soon as you do it, some Me Too product is going to come along and they're going to imitate it. Okay. So soapbox moment. Another thing, if people are taking notes, write this down. Today's options packages are tomorrow's standard equipment.
Right. Yeah, I heard you mention that on another show, and I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. It really is true. I mean, things like the power packs in the cars and all that stuff with the windows that are automatic and the lights and the air conditioning. That stuff used to be extras. Now it
used to be extras. Yeah, I'm old enough to have purchased a car that didn't have power door locks, power windows, power steering, power brakes.
Probably not AC either. I remember cars that were made without AC.
Right. I mean, there was a time where we actually had to roll down our own windows. Like, we had to use the hand crank and stuff like that. The horror.
Right.
I have a 19-year-old daughter, and she's like, no, you're kidding. Right. But, that's the truth. As soon as someone makes those features or those itties and those ERs, when they make those standard equipment, it then becomes completely undifferentiated. So this is where organizations really, really, really have to dig in and understand what is the singular thing they get from me, they get from my brand that they can't get anywhere else.
But let me just add this to the conversation as well, because again, let me go back to the commodity, the person that's selling legal services, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call legal services a commodity, but let's just say that for a moment there is a commodity of legal services or copy paper or anything like that. It doesn't have to be that service. It can be the fact that you're providing this level of service, this 60-minute guarantee of return phone calls, this handwritten thank you notes, the fact that you're on time every time, you tell the truth, all of the things that people just seem to have gotten away from, that oftentimes will set your brand apart from everybody else if you have an apples to apples comparison of your products and services to them. Again, correct me if I'm wrong here, but why is that just an area that really does help push a brand to the forefront of a consumer's mind?
So why that helps push brands to the forefront of consumers' minds is that it really speaks to this notion of meaningful differentiation. It's not enough to be different just to be different. You have to be different in a way that makes a difference to someone's life. Remember, we're trying to get people laid here. We are trying to get people laid through copy paper. We're trying to get people laid through pickup trucks. We're trying to get people laid through legal services, all of these different things. You have to do something for them to make them fall in love with you and feel like they're irrationally loyal to you, that they feel like they'd be cheating on you if they didn't use your brand, right? And so that's why those things that seem, when we talk about them, like obsessive customer service or an on-time guarantee or something like that, that's why those things, they seem so basic, but and they seem so just incremental. They can be so incredibly meaningful to the brand because they're so meaningfully differentiated, and those are the things that create those emotional bonds for people.
Well, and I never understand it. I mean, I've literally made an entire career out of returning phone calls, being a nice guy, telling the truth, being on time, returning my text messages, and overpromising and exceeding expectations. I mean, those 5 or 6 things that I just went through, I've made a whole career, and that has nothing to do with what I actually do for my living, So it's interesting that people can create an entire brand on stuff that really isn't the products or services that they even deliver, but more about the level of service that they provide their customers,
or really how they deliver that service or how they deliver that product. This is really where that brand values pyramid methodology comes in. Let me get to the third question in the process of branding. And then I'll talk about the brand values pyramid, because you bring up a really, really good point about this, the fact that you have made a career out of just being incrementally better at everything.
I'm bitter too. Everybody. I have an ex-wife and I'm a little bitter, but it's a whole different story.
Yeah, okay. So that's another story. You and I can talk ex-wife, ex-husbands, etc.
All right, good.
When we talk about my follow-up book, right? But anyway,
Tell them the brand of your follow-up book if you want.
Oh, that one's called My Uterus is a Homing Device for Assholes.
That's perfect. We love that one. But today
it's a personal memoir, not a business book. This one's a personal memoir.
Today we are talking with Deb Gabor. She is the author of Branding is Sex: Get Your Customers Laid and Sell the Hell Out of Anything. She is funny. She's wonderful, and she's actually, her book is good. I haven't had a chance to read the entire book, but bits and pieces of it, and you've gotten a ton of really, really positive reviews, and that's the name of the game, is getting the good reviews, and you really have them. So well done.
Thank you.
Anyway, keep rolling here, because I want to get to some other questions, and we're running a little short on time. So I want to make sure we get to this the pyramid thing. That sounds really interesting.
Definitely. So we were going through the process, just as a quick review, figure out who your ideal customer is, and then ask the question of what does it say about that ideal customer that they use your brand. The second question that we were talking about, which is about getting beyond the itties and the ers and really getting to meaningful differentiation. What is the singular thing that you deliver that nobody else does? Then the third question is thinking about that ideal customer. What is the story that he or she is trying to create for their life? They always want to be the protagonist. They want to be the winner. What is your brand's role in that story? You put all three of those things together, and then you figure out, how do you give people the feeling that they have the world on a string and that they just want to jump into bed and not be sexy, but actually have sex, because we want to have sex when we feel at the top of our game, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of the process of branding. But you brought up something that's kind of a nuance to this that I think is really, really important, especially for entrepreneurial organizations and smaller businesses. And this is the notion of really delivering above and beyond the baseline requirement. So the brand values pyramid, it literally is a triangle. It looks a little bit like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When I do speaking and consulting, I always tell clients and audiences, Maslow was a marketer, right? At the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy are the baseline physiological needs: food, water, shelter, air, etc., right? In the middle of the pyramid, the next two tiers of the pyramid are about affiliation and love and security and things like that. When you get to the top of the pyramid, you get to this notion of self-actualization. I am at times a fully self-actualized human, at times I am not. However, brands can become fully self-actualized. The brand values pyramid, at the bottom of the pyramid, the base of the pyramid, which is akin to the Maslow's basic physiological needs, are the baseline requirements for the category. So, Doug, you transcend the baseline requirements for the category. The baseline requirements for the category, you either have them or you don't have them. But this is really thinking about if, for instance, you are let's say you're a paper supplier, right? You have to have paper, you have to have availability, you have to be priced right for the marketplace. You probably have to have colors and sizes and different quantities, and they need to be packaged in a particular way. They have to be distributed in a certain way, etc. You have to have customer service. But then at the next level of the pyramid, which is sort of equal to those affiliation needs and those love needs and belonging needs, we call them emotional benefits when we're talking in branding language. Those emotional benefits might be things like the packaging is just slightly different. It's much easier to get into, and let's just say, for instance, it's guaranteed no paper cut packaging.
So it's kind of like Moo. It's like Moo. Moo has all the products and services that a basic card printing company does, but then they package it fun. They make it interesting. So that's the next level.
Absolutely. The whole experience of doing business with Moo doesn't make you feel like you've just gone to the print shop down the street, like you've walked into FedEx, Kinko's, or you've ordered from Vistaprint, right? Right. So the emotional benefits of buying from Moo, you feel special, you feel unique, you feel like you are able to express your own brand and articulate your own brand through this deliverable of a business card in a very, very unique and kind of customized way. Right. So that's at the middle of the pyramid. At the top of the pyramid are those self-expressive benefits, those self-actualization benefits, the things that are the answers to those three questions. What does it say about a person? What is the singular thing that you get here that you can't get anywhere else? And then thirdly, how do we make people a hero? So what you've done, the example that you gave of your own business, that you've made an entire career just out of being nice, returning every phone call, being very diligent about follow-up and all of those kinds of things, really says that you've created a business out of just transcending the baseline requirements. So for small businesses, entrepreneurial organizations, and even entrepreneurially spirited managers and leaders inside of big organizations, figure out what are those emotional benefits, those requirements that go above and beyond the baseline requirements for the category. First, make sure you meet all the requirements, but don't market yourself on the fact that you do the baseline requirements for everyone in the market. That is not how you build a brand.
I think that when you started the show off, but you talked about this was going to be a total fuckery. I think you really messed up, Deb. I think you actually have come through here. I think you really did.
Okay.
I had really high hopes for you, and you've proven me right. Okay. So thanks.
You wanted me to fall on my face, huh?
No, I never want anybody to fall on her face, but I was especially, when you come into an interview with a title of a book like Deb's title, which is Branding is Sex, Get Your Customers Laid and Sell the Hell Out of Anything, you need to deliver it. And I very rarely take notes, and I was feverishly writing the entire time that you're talking because this is good shit. I mean, it really is stuff that we can put to use immediately after listening to an interview like this. So thanks for the contribution to the nice guys that way.
Well, great. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I think I told you this before we started recording. I can't not do this. I literally am compelled to do this, and I think it says in the intro to my book, why I wrote this book. I'm like, I can't see people out there on their own, lost in the wilderness, without a brand. It makes me have a physical reaction. Like I have to, I have to pull off to the side of the road and help them brand
because find it, right.
Yeah, I mean, it really, really is my purpose and my mission to take all of these theories and make them into something that you don't need a PhD to understand. The whole idea is that you can do this, and I want to empower people to be able to do this because it can make such a huge difference for their businesses, and I feel really, really strongly about that.
So, Deb, I'm gonna ask you for a moment to take off your Branding is Sex hat for a second and put on the hat of a business owner and help walk me through the answers to the next 5 rapid fire questions. I'm just going to ask you a question. I don't prep you for these because I don't want you to have to think about them. I just want your first response to the questions I'm going going to ask. And
yeah, good luck with that. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to do my best not to step on you, but I really suck at that. So I'm going to try my best not to interrupt you as you do them. So take maybe 10 or 15 seconds with each of the answers, and give me what you think is the correct answer for you. Okay, as you would tell the story. All right, so here they come. So be relatable, Deb. What do you suck at?
I suck at just letting things be. I am constantly strategizing. I am constantly thinking 10 or 15 steps ahead. I get annoyed when other people are not going there with me and haven't arrived at the same conclusion. And what that does is it shuts off the headspace and the opportunity for new ideas and new explorations to enter. Excellent.
All right. Be transparent. How did you pay your bills when you first got going?
Credit cards, lots of them.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. Be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets?
I am a freaking kick-ass public speaker.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. And there it went. Be humble. Be humble. What experts do you need to call upon to make shit happen when shit wasn't happening for you?
It's the experts in a lot of the administrative and operational areas that I don't particularly like, or sometimes I don't understand. So CPAs and technology experts and administrative.
I just started sweating when you started talking about accounting.
I know. But seriously, like, this is something I don't even mow my own grass. Like, I don't do anything for myself that I know other people can do 450 times better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
That's good. And final one, be realistic. Where do you think you're going to be in the next 90 days, and how far into the future can you actually see?
So I've set a very, very specific goal for me and my relationship to my core business, and that is I want to take branding as sex, and I'm going to really, really blow it up. I have this very specific goal that within the next 6 months, I'm going to be generating $250,000 worth of revenue for my company that doesn't involve any of my employees, meaning that $250,000 in the next 6 months is going to come from paid speaking engagements and me doing direct consulting engagements where a company will hire me to come in for a day and pay me like $10,000 to like come in and run a workshop and give them some deliverables at the end of the day. So in 90 days, I should be halfway there.
Oh, I love this. This is a great plan, and I really would love to track where you feel like you are. If you exceed that, we would love to know. If you don't hit it, we love when people come on and they're transparent and they say, "Hey, I fucked up. I didn't quite get there, but I'm 125 grand in." So that would be good too. So feel free to check back in with us to let us know where you are, where you're coming. Even if we just do it on Twitter or on our Facebook community, we would love to track along with you because we love the success of the people that are on the show for sure.
Well, and I love the accountability of having a community. I think that's a great thing that you guys have built here.
Oh, thanks, Deb. On a personal note, do you have your cell phone anywhere near you?
I do.
Okay, great. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
Well, of course I have an iPhone.
Oh, good. Excellent. Another one.
I'm irrationally loyal to iPhone. I know that there's other technology out there that works better, that's cheaper, that's more durable, that has more storage, et cetera, higher performance. But I love the story that the iPhone tells about me. I am irrationally loyal.
Yeah, there's all of those things. I don't even know what you're talking about. Nothing's better than the iPhone because of that last part that you said, because we're irrationally loyal to our iPhones. That's why.
I feel like I was cheating on it. I once held a Samsung Galaxy in my hand. It did not explode, but I once held it in my hand and it was lickable. I mean, it was really, really beautiful, but then I felt dirty. I had to put it down and I just couldn't do it.
Go to your picture app. Let me know do you have your phone anywhere near you? Is it on you? Okay, great. Go to your picture app. Tell me what's the last thing you took a photo of. It's okay. You have to tell us the truth.
Oh, I took a picture of some sushi last night that looked like a penis.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
Well, you got to send that to us. It might have to be on your cover art now. You said that. I had other cover art for you, but maybe we'll have to include that as a part of your cover art now.
So the funny story about this is that I recently had not very recently, but several months ago, I had kind of a devastating breakup, and the name of this sushi roll is that guy's name. Yeah. And when I saw that it came out when the insert name here roll came out, and it looked like a big old dick. I had to snap a picture of it and text it to my best friend and say, hey, this is the insert name here roll. Looks like a big dick, doesn't it? And she said, it is a big dick.
Nice.
So there you go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So, that probably answers the second question of this two-part question was, what is the last text message you sent and received? Is that it?
No. This is between me and my daughter, who is 19 and home for Christmas break from her freshman year in college. And she said, I'm finally going to do laundry. New year, new me. And I said, go you.
Yeah, my son is 20 and my daughter is 23, and I don't know if my son has ever done laundry. He may have. I think that he just throws his clothes away when he's done with them.
Yeah, I have stories. I walked into her bedroom last night. She's been home for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something. I walked into her bedroom last night and I said, it smells funny. And I believe it's those socks. So you need to do some laundry. So we had a little mom-daughter heart-to-heart. But nice. I don't think the 19, 20, 23 somethings are doing a whole lot of laundry these days.
No, definitely not doing a lot of laundry. Well, Deb, you were a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Deb wrote the book Branding is Sex. Get your customers laid and sell the hell out of anything. Available on her website. We'll make sure that we put the link in the show notes as well as on Amazon. But where do you want them to go to? Do you want them to go to your website, or do you want them to go to Amazon?
You know what? Go to brandingissex.com and you can download a free chapter there and you can try it before you buy it, and then send me a message and let me know if you heard anything inspirational here, or if you have some fuckery you would like me to unfuck.
Nice.
Or if you want to just send me pictures of your junk. No, just kidding. Anyway, I would love to hear from people, but go to brandingissex.com. There is a link to buy the book from Amazon. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble and a couple of independent bookstores as well. And I would be eternally grateful if people would purchase the book and talk about it and share it with your friends.
Awesome. And just so there's no mistake, no one in the Nice Guy community, don't anyone send me pictures of your junk. Send it all to Deb, because I get in enough trouble with my phone with my current wife. So I want to make sure that we're very clear about that. Send all junk pictures directly to Deb. We'll put her phone number in the show notes, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it.
Hey, Deb, thanks for being a part of the show today. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Deb, and make sure we check out all the fun stuff in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
Call 4242 DJ Doug and record an intro for the show to hear on a future episode. Say anything you want. Hell, take my job. I'm getting sick of these guys anyway. We still rolling? Don't tell him I said that.